Coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. Telephone and email scams are becoming more common, and the RCMP are warning you of the latest scam in circulation. The federal campaign is underway for election 2015, as Canadians will head to the polls on October the 19th. Participants from across the prairies in the Northern U.S. were in Swift Current for the final weekend of racing this season, hosted by the Swift Current Drag Racing Association. Thanks for joining us here today. Well, if the telephone rings and the caller on the other end says they're from Revenue Canada, think twice about giving out your personal information. We have more in today's top story. Telephone and email scams are becoming more common, and the RCMP are warning you of the latest scam in circulation. Numerous residents across the province have been alerting the RCMP about receiving suspicious calls from individuals claiming to be with Revenue Canada. The caller on the line indicates there's an arrest warrant out for the person for tax-related reasons. The caller then tries to retrieve the payment over the phone by credit card. And when challenged by the resident, he or she then threatens individuals that the RCMP will be coming to their door to make an arrest in a few hours. A false claim on all parts by the caller, as the Canadian Revenue Agency never calls people under these circumstances, and most correspondence is usually by mail. A type of scam which can cause hardship for unsuspecting seniors or others who fall victim to these types of illegal calls. If you receive a similar telephone call, you're advised to hang up the phone immediately. Contact the RCMP or the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre.
Well, I stated right away, I put this as an imposter, and I'm in no way endorsing a situation or a scheme like this.
Imagine a destination where you can enjoy world-class dining and unique accommodations. Take a leisurely stroll through streets filled with rich history while browsing for that perfect gift. Buy fresh produce from the farmers market and enjoy a range of cultural events while stepping back in time to learn more about Canada's Old West. Your summer destination is awaiting you in Maple Creek. For event listings and all things Maple Creek, visit our website. Candidates across the country are hitting the campaign trail in the 2015 federal election. And in this report, we profile the candidates running here in the Cypress Hills-Grasslands riding. The federal campaign is underway for election 2015, as Canadians will head to the polls on October the 19th. Here in the Southwest, 4 candidates will have their names on the ballots for the Cypress Hills-Grasslands constituency. This includes David Anderson, who's represented the Conservatives in this riding since 2000. Trevor Peterson, a teacher from Assiniboia for the NDP, who's hitting the trail in his second federal campaign. Newcomer Marvin Weens, a retired farmer from the Wymark area running for the Liberals. And William Caton, a rancher from East End for the Green Party. Southwest TV News has met up with 3 of the 4 candidates vying for your vote. Trevor Peterson says his rural roots growing up in the Riverhurst Central Butte area, 22 years of teaching experience, and general interest in being a voice for local residents in Ottawa will be a strong factor on Election Day, as he brings a number of key issues to his campaign.
Support for veterans, seniors, and families. I think they're having a harder and harder time under the Conservative Harper government. But also local issues such as the handling of the PFRA, the community pastures. The grain handling situation has been a big issue the last number of years. And of course, the Harper government's handling of the Canadian Wheat Board has been a big issue. I also feel another issue that I'm hearing a lot of is infrastructure. Now, I know that's a provincial jurisdiction, but I think the federal government can take a lead on that. I drive a little high under Elantra on these roads. I just came from Hodgeville to Vanguard the other day, and I don't know what kind of shape my vehicle is going to be in at this end of this campaign.
Liberal candidate Marvin Weens is also basing his campaign on change for voters in the Southwest. With a strong background in agriculture through his experience on the farm and his past role as president of the Saskatchewan Wheat Pool, Weens is ready to address a number of policies on your behalf.
Well, first of all, I won't take their vote for granted. As I talked earlier, Anderson has taken the vote for granted here because he knows he can cut. I talked about all the programs they've cut in agriculture, for example. Most farmers don't even know that, or they haven't thought about it because we're living in good economic times. I've farmed all my life. I'm almost 70 years old. I've seen many tough years. And those tough years have pulled us through because of liberal governments that gave us billion-dollar handouts many times. Have to work on safety net programs that taxpayers support and that get us through difficult times when they come, and they will come.
Well, incumbent David Anderson, who's embarking on his 5th federal election campaign, hopes voters will stay the course with the Conservatives, as he's proud to have represented Southwest Saskatchewan for the past 15 years.
The folks in this riding have been very generous to me, and so we're going to go back to them again this time and ask if they would be willing to support us one more time. We think we've done a good job. We've had great leadership in Ottawa with Stephen Harper. The issues in the riding have been primarily economic, so we see some impact from the oil prices. We know that there's been some economic slowdown from the international oil price coming down. Obviously, agriculture in this area is very important. It's doing well right now. Harvest is coming off. We want to see that come off in good shape, and then make sure that we can get that transported to the coast so they people can sell their product and go on to next year.
The Cypress Hills-Grasslands constituency is one of the largest ridings in the province, with electoral boundaries now expanded to as far east as Caronport, south to Mossbank, and north to the RM of Kindersley. A large area to cover for all candidates in the coming weeks through door-to-door campaigns, and the hopes of some for an all-candidates forum.
Let's have it in Swift Current, but because it's the biggest center. But if he's not willing to do that, I will go to Frontier to debate him. That's his hometown. So just to David Anderson, I would say where and when. And I would invite Trevor Peterson there as well.
And as the candidates keep busy on the campaign trail, you're reminded to ensure you're properly registered to vote on Election Day. Full details and registration for voting in the 2015 federal election are available online through Elections Canada.
Message for them. Saskatchewan is not just a great place to be from. It is a great place to be.
Another exciting season of Market Square returns to downtown Swift Current, featuring live entertainment, fresh garden produce, crafts, and other unique vendors. Market Square, every Saturday at the corner of Central and Chaplin. Proudly presented by the City of Swift Current and Standard Motors, along with Innovation Credit Union and Southwest TV News. The Swift Current Airport was the place to be as the Swift Current Drag Racing Association wrapped up the season with its final event. We bring you some of the highlights in this report. Participants from across the prairies in the Northern U.S. were in Swift Current for the final weekend of racing this season, hosted by the Swift Current Drag Racing Association. The weekend kicked off with a Friday night car show, where racers and other classic car enthusiasts showed off their prized vehicles. Then it was out to the raceway on Saturday and Sunday, where participants took to the strip in a number of categories, including Sportsman, Pro, and Super Pro. The highlight of the weekend was a performance by Nitro Mike of Mission, BC, who entertained the crowd with his modified 2003 PT Cruiser. Mike performed a series of stunts for the crowd, similar to that which earned him a Guinness World Record in Ontario 3 years ago.
In August of 2012, we set the new Guinness World Record for the longest wheelie in a car. First attempt was 2,500 feet, and the second attempt was just over 4,300 feet. Well, what it is, it's a 2003 PT Cruiser. It's highly modified. It's an all-tube chassis with a blown alcohol 440 Chrysler motor in it. The motor being in the back helps, gives it a bit of an advantage to do what I'm doing, but it does take horsepower to keep it going. And that's what it does. It does a wheelie.
And as he entertains crowds at approximately 22 shows per summer across Canada and the U.S., Nitro Mike says he never gets tired of getting behind the wheel and meeting the fans on the road.
I guess it's a guy thing, you know, the motorsports. Drag racing can be expensive depending on what class you're in. This was a little more my affordability, so to speak. So that's why I do this. I enjoy it.
A well-rounded weekend of drag racing, which organizers state grows year over year, while welcoming new and long-standing fans to the stands.
Well, what you're going to see is a bunch of cars that people have got a lot of work and a lot of money put into, and that are really fast and really loud, and and really enjoyable to watch. I mean, I'm a kind of a car guy, so I enjoy this kind of stuff. But anybody that's a car enthusiast, you'll get a lot of fun out of a lot of nice cars and a lot of loud noise.
The Swift Current Drag Racing Association started in 2006 and entertains crowds each summer with a series of 3 home events at the Swift Current Airport. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at MyLocalTV.ca. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.